What is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back with another instant match reaction. Here with Barrow. We've been dumped out the FA Cup by Aston Villa, 2-1 in what was ultimately a disappointing day for Tottenham yet again, especially at home. Another defeat, loud boos at the end of the game. Even fans, or home fans, chanting "You're being sacked" in the morning at points in that first half. But there were some positives to take away. First half was a bit of an embarrassment yet again. A lot of the same with what we've been seeing. Struggling to get forward, struggling to attack, struggling to have periods of possession. But Aston Villa looking sharp, incisive, opening Tottenham up, looking confident. And before we knew it, we felt, well, right at the end of the first half, found ourselves 2 goals down. But opening goal by Buendia, a brilliant move from Aston Villa. Great build-up, playing in between the lines. Tottenham not being able to keep pace with them. And Tottenham, I think, really struggled to contain Aston Villa in that first half. They were like a class above, weren't they, in the first half?
Yeah, look, very professional performance from Aston Villa. Look, there was drama, there was excitement. We got a bit excited for 15 minutes when we had that spell in the second half. But it's all a little bit too little too late from Tottenham again.
We wait till we're 2-0 down, don't we?
Yeah,
and,
we had to wait until we were 2-0 down before we started, showing what was going on. It's just frustrating. Paulinho on that, from second half to from the first half is like night and day. Porro again from the first half to second half of night and day. He obviously saved that, cleared that ball off the line. But it's just another game where we have to, we have to have the boos from the home fans at half time. We have to see a reaction. We saw a reaction, but I don't know how much longer this is going to carry on, because if the home fans are singing "You're getting sacked" in the, we thought it was the away fans, and then Ben messaged you and said it was the home fans.
Yeah. Apparently it started with the away fans and the home fans joined in. At half time, and when that starts happening, it's never a good sign, is it? It's always you're on a hiding to nothing, really, when the home fans start really turning and singing "You're sacked" in the morning. But you know what? Half-time was understandable. The second goal happens. Tell passes down the line, gives the ball away. And there was Aston Villa again, quick interchanges. Marlon into Buendia, excellent flick into Rodgers, and then he had a brilliant finish. And you know what? 2-0 didn't flatter Aston Villa at half-time, did it? And
no.
It was really difficult to watch, I think, at times in that first half. I think Aston Villa were really playing us off the park. I think we had one moment, which was Xavi driving through the heart of that Villa midfield brilliantly. Plays a nice flick into Moani, and he finished it well, but he was offside. So that was obviously a massive shame. But I think that was obviously as good as it got, really, for Spurs in that first half. We really struggled to have any sort of kind of threat. Again, apart from maybe a couple of half chances from set pieces, Villa were just kind of all over us. Again, we were just playing it long, no real intent to attack them, and we're just basically giving Villa possession. That first half, they had in that first half they had 63% possession, and they were just dominating us. We had 4 shots to their 8, but that did all change in the second half. To be fair, that did all change in the second half. We had a bit more possession. They had 57%, so we got a bit more of the ball, and all of a sudden we had a bit more intent about us. We were going off, and the pressing was a lot more intense, a lot more aggressive, and we came out in that second half with a real point to prove and a real kind of goal of getting back in this game. And we did get the goal. Moani shoves Bogal off the ball brilliantly, aggressively, drives through the middle, pass it off to Odegaard, really great finish. And all of a sudden, Tottenham got their tails up, and we did have lots of chances to get back in that game.
Yeah, we did, but the frustrating things, when we had the chances, it was only for 15 minutes. Then Villa started being, more consistent, more persistent, more professional about what they wanted to do during that game. I don't know. I'm not sure. We can play well for 15 minutes, but where do we get where's the rest of it coming from? We're not going to play well for 90 minutes, but it's always 10, 15 minutes in a game, and we do enough. But we just didn't do enough again. I think the subs, I'm not sure about Porro coming off for Spence. Was that because he was on the yellow card? Is that the only reason? Because maybe Spence should have come on for Davis. Paulinho obviously was unlucky, and obviously it did all kick off at the end, you know, the kind of melee. I don't know. Defensively, I don't think we were amazing defensively, especially in that first half. We made up for it in the second half, but it's another performance where the Tottenham fans are going to be sat there looking at things going, what was that? And I don't know where we're not getting any better is the issue. We weren't worse today that we have been.
We're probably one half better displays in that second half than we have been for many games this season.
But is that what we're going to do? We're out the FA Cup now. Okay, that's another chance of a trophy. You can sit there and say we've got no chance of winning a trophy, but look at what happened last season. The kit didn't inspire us. The drum didn't inspire us. The trumpet didn't inspire us. The fans weren't inspired. The players didn't inspire us. I just going down. What are we going to see if once we get past and get knocked out of the Champions League in the early part? In the next few weeks. Let's just say, what are we going to see? I don't know.
What conclusions do you take out of this game? Because it seemed as though we were 2-0 down, and then once the shackles were off, all of a sudden, what a difference that made. Paulinho was flying into challenges and as if we got nothing to lose. We had Tel, Odebear, Xavi, all became alive, and Mawani, all became alive once we started to attack more, once we started to put the game to Aston Villa and ask them different questions, play a few short passes in through the centre of the pitch, by the way, not just all out wide, actually ask them different questions. All of a sudden, we were playing some really nice football, really good interchanges. Xavi was running the game all of a sudden, had some really nice shots, he had some really nice dribbles, they struggled to contain him, Tel was lively in the game as well, and does that not show Frank that this team is capable of so much more than what he's offering up in terms of going forward? Because it seems as though he's in this mode in his head where we have to play the way we are because we have no Maddison, we have no Decker, we've got all these injuries, right? Which I understand and I have some sympathy with. But we saw today, play through Xavi, start getting Tel on the ball and start getting them closer to each other, start getting little triangles, start getting little interchanges within the penalty area, stop going long all the time and fighting for second balls, and they are capable of opening teams up and creating chances. And is that not a lesson he should learn from today?
Yeah, look, 100%. I don't see how he couldn't see what we were all seeing. Do you know what I mean? We saw that in that second half, but are these players capable of doing it for more than 10, 15 minutes? I don't know. Is it best to say you're 2-0 down when you walk out on that pitch? I don't know. I don't know the answers anymore.
We should start the game as if we're 2-0 down every game.
Yeah.
That's what we should do, because it seems as though the shackles are off when we're 2-0 down. And it seems as though we just went for it. We just had a go. We just chucked players forward.
Nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose. And what a change it made. It showed what we're capable of. It showed that even against a good team like Villa, this team can create chances. It can look good going forward at times. The press was full pelt in that second half of periods, and we were looking so dangerous. We were looking really likely that we were going to score. Xavi forced some saves out of the keeper. We just had some really good moments, and it was frustrating we couldn't come out in the same intensity like that in the first half as we did in the second half. Now, to caveat that, I would say that it didn't last. It lasted 15, 20 minutes. Then Villa made some subs. They brought Watkins on. They brought Sancho on, and they struggled. We struggled then to reassert ourselves in the game. I thought we brought on Scarlett, and it didn't affect the game positively.
No.
I think he was anonymous. I think we really struggled with that. So I think the subs from Frank, as much as he is hamstrung with injuries, obviously the subs that they brought on affected the game positively, and the ones that we didn't, and that was a shame. I want to have a big shout out to Paulinho in that second half. I thought it was a bit of a Roy of the Rovers kind of performance.
Yeah.
He really kind of stepped up and it was a massive kind of in that second half. He just kind of tried his best to drag us back into the game solely. I think Gray was kind of while Gray was drowning a bit, he kind of rose in that occasion, and he really battled away, and it was really unlucky, I felt.
Yeah, look, and unfortunately, like we say, it doesn't get any easier. West Ham at home, Dortmund at home.
I mean, you say it doesn't get any easier, and it's West Ham at home.
Well, yeah, but
it should be easier, shouldn't it?
It should be easier, but apart from West Ham and Burnley, look at those games to come. February is horrible. Man City, Man United, Newcastle, Arsenal. If is Frank going to do just enough to save himself to get to February? I don't know. I think if we don't show any fight, we've turned up in London derbies this season, or actually we haven't turned up in London derbies this season, and if we then go put in a stinky performance like we did against Bournemouth, against West Ham, I think that could be it, because the fans won't put up with it. Not against West Ham.
But what is it about us when we don't really start playing until we're trailing? It seems. Well, I guess against Sunderland and against Bournemouth we started the game well. Today we didn't start the game well at all, and then once we're 2-0 down, it was like the shackles off and we just went for it. But when we see how we played in that second half, why can we not play like that more often? Why is it frustrating? Why do we wait till the game is nearly away from us to really go at teams? Why was the mentality of this team in that first half so reserved and so risk averse, and just long balls and try and not give Aston Villa any encouragement? And in that second half, it was like, let's just go for it, let's just throw players forward, and we just ruffled a few feathers. And I think that second half will be encouraging for a lot of fans. And I think a few points that second half will be like, okay, that's what we're capable of. But at the end of the day, it's another defeat. It was too little too late, as you say. We end up losing the game. I also thought the last 10 minutes where we should be throwing the kitchen sink at them. I thought Villa managed the game really well, and we really struggled to kind of assert ourselves in that point in the game. We didn't do anything in the last 10 minutes, really, of that game. And Villa, I thought, just had us under control. We couldn't really do much. There was some good performance. I thought Xavi in that second half was fantastic as well. And in that first half, he had a couple of moments where he showed his quality. But again, it's a lesson that we should be learning. We need to get him involved more. We need to get him on the ball more in good areas. You saw today. I thought for me, when he was on the ball, I thought he showed what he's capable of. He's got quality. Like, for me, people saying he's a waste of money, he can't do it in this league. Look what he was capable of when you get him in the right areas. I thought they couldn't handle him at point times today in that second half. Xavi. Yeah,
I mean, he was fantastic, but we haven't again, like with everything else, we haven't seen enough of that Xavi. We produce a second half response. When no one is doubting that second half, showing. But we've ultimately failed to reach the fourth round of the FA Cup for the first time since 2013-14.
Long time.
And it's another bad day for Frank, another bad day. And Aston Villa have become the first side to eliminate Spurs from the FA Cup in back-to-back seasons since 2007-8, when Manchester United did it 2 seasons in a row. So these are all things that are all piling up, It was a good FA Cup tie. For the neutral, it probably was brilliant to watch. But again, we've just left something... we've left us out too much to do.
I feel like Frank should be looking at this performance, and I think we should all be looking at it and thinking, these players showed when the shackles were off and they were allowed the freedom to just pile forward and attack the opposition, they can hurt them. They've got the quality to hurt the opposition. They've got so much more to offer than we've been seeing. I thought Tell again was bright off the left-hand side. Odegaard scored a nice goal. Rouhani, when given the opportunity, had a nice goal which was just offside, and obviously got an assist, a really nice assist for Odegaard. So for me, I think Frank has to be looked, because I reckon that second half performance will probably be enough just to keep him in a job. I don't think they're going to sack him off the back of that. I'm not saying whether he deserves it or not, but I'm saying they're not going to sack him when we've looked all right in that second half, and maybe, I don't know, whatever you want to say, there's their signs of turning around. I wouldn't say so, but that we showed something in that second half, right? We didn't just go down with a whimper.
No.
So I don't think they're going to sack him. But surely Frank has to be looking at thinking, this is what these attacking players can offer. Like, they can be dangerous. And we've looked so far off that in so many games this season. And why is that? Why have we not been able to get our attacking players to be looking as dangerous as they have in periods that we do today? And has he got the shackles off way too much? Is he asking them to do too much going the other way? Is he focusing on the opposition way too much? Because I think in the first half, that's exactly what he was doing. Focusing all on Aston Villa and how we can stop them, and it didn't work. We were carved open. And the second, I was like, we weren't going to be bothering with that. We're just going to go forward. We're not going to bother with how we stop Villa. We're going to try and get back in this game, and we nearly did, and we were much better in that second half. So I really hope he learns those lessons. I really hope we start seeing Tottenham much more on the front foot, and we start seeing us getting the best out of these attacking players, because I think they've got so much more to give. And I think people saying, I'm not saying they're the best attackers in the world, but people saying they're terrible and, we can't attack because we've got all these injuries, blah, blah, blah. Look.
We saw tonight we can do it, but we're not doing it consistently, and we're not doing it as much as we should be doing it.
Some also negatives. Richarlison went off injured in the first half, so our injury crisis deepens even further, which is obviously really, really bad.
Well, it's bad for not having a player, but is it bad that it's Richarlison?
I guess if it was anyone, you could argue. But he's our top goal scorer, so at least on the positive side, Dom Solanke came on and he's now back in the team, and he's now an available option. I thought he looked rusty, but also there were times where he nearly made the difference.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, he had a bit of a chance, but it just wasn't enough. He needs more time. He needs more time. Whether that's starting against West Ham, I don't know. We got a week now between now and West Ham, so it's enough time to maybe get him right to start, and then we need to start looking at. Well, I don't know who else needs to come back. The list is long.
Oh, it's about 10 players now, 10, 11 players. Obviously, Doggy was on the bench as well, which is really encouraging. So there are some positives. The fact that Xavi played so well, and that was one of his better games again in a Tottenham shirt. The fact that I think the other two guys, Tell and Odebear, had decent games. Paulinia's performance was brilliant. So there were some positives. But I think he's right. Tundo Salaki 863 says Villa were in control of 85% that game. I mean, it's hard to disagree with that.
Yeah.
We had a 15-minute spell in the second half where we got the goal and we could have easily got the equaliser, but we missed those chances. We didn't quite get we didn't ride the wave of momentum. And then once Villa made those subs, and then once we made some subs, we just lost control of it again. We didn't really create anything late on.
No, we didn't. And it was just, like you say, in the times when it got tough, or the times when we need to step up and be professional, Villa just kept slamming that door shut, and that was the problem. They slammed it shut. There was some giant killings today, but there wasn't a giant killing from us at White Hart Lane today,
and not unfortunately. So look, we're out of the FA Cup. What does that mean for Frank for you? Is he safe? Is he? Will they respond to this result with a big decision, or do you think they're going to stick with it?
I think like you said, after that second half performance, it probably
saves him a bit.
Kicks the can, like we always do. We're kicking the can down the road, but I think it keeps him until West Ham. But by God, if we don't win that game, then there's going to be serious repercussions. I think.
For me, I think he will be safe. As I said, I would make the change if we can. If it's possible to get someone else in, I would do it, because I think today's even more evidence that we need a change. Even though it was a better second half, I think it shows we need to have a more front-thinking manager, a more forward-thinking manager, progressive manager to be in charge of this set of players. I think you can get better performances out of them. So for me, I would still make the change, but I don't think they will. I think they will keep with him. I think they're going to stick with him. And, I think it's going to be more Thomas Frank, to be honest. I think if it was a heavy defeat and a real bad performance, they might have made the change. But I think, I think they'll stick with it. I think they've just got enough of a reason, I guess, from their point of view,
Yeah.
if they haven't made the change.
And they'll look silly as well, and it'll fall on them. The money that they spent on Frank and his team and everything else. It's I'll be very surprised if they make as knee jerky as that. But like I said, that West Ham game is pivotal now.
All right, well, that is your instant match reaction. Now is your chance to have your say on today's